I tried to fight off a family friend who was a professional football player, and it frightened me because I wasn't dating. I was working 3 jobs, putting myself through school. And I just said, okay, I'll go along. I know I'll be okay. He'll, you know, and literally, that's the first year that the birth control pills were, you know, developed, and I didn't have the money to get them yet, and so it was, I gotta work. I have to go to school. I can't get pregnant. I don't want to be a football player's wife. I don't want to be a cheerleader. I don't want to, you know. And I survived that. Jumped out of the car. In the winter of January, my shoes came off. I ran home in you know, ice and snow, and I had grown up a bit. I matured. I would have to, or break. And I had the fabric of the women's movement with Gloria, Steinem, and Abzug, and Barbra, Jordon, and Shirley, Chisholm, who I'd been watching, who helped me pull me out to a position of strength, and that I'm going to be okay. It's okay. How do I share this when the community says it's my fault? It's always the woman's fault, and the courts and the lawyers and everyone are not on the women's side at that time in the 70s, 69, 70, 71 at that time. So again, I had to keep it quiet. And so I wanted to transfer to UCLA and get into film school, being an out-of-state student, work another 5 jobs. And it happened a 3rd time. And by then, I was pissed. It's not gonna happen. I'm gonna fight him off. It is not gonna happen. And I just wanted to leave, and I didn't want to take the Roger Corman film. I turned it down. I was just tired of, I was dating Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who was converting to Islam, and I had fallen in love with him before he converted, and he was a different person. And then as he was converting, and he wanted me to read about how to be a Muslim woman, I don't know how I'm going to walk behind you and serve you and have as many children as I possibly can and be a basketball player. I need to get an education. That's my independence. If something happens to you, because I saw what happened to my dad and how my mom had to go out and take care of 6 children by herself on a nurse's salary. Oh no. And then I asked him some questions, and he would say, "It is written." And I said, "Where?" I was like, who? What chapter is that one? And so I had a question for him. Logic. Pragmatic. So are we going to be fundamental, conservative, moderate, or liberal? Will I be able to drive, or do I need a chaperone? Or will I have to live in the house of women when I have my men? So, you know, he couldn't tell me. And I said, you want me to give up my life and you don't know? Well, I need to think this out here. And I just, oh my God, he was worldly, he loved jazz, he loved Miles. He has so much that I just absolutely adored about him. He could dance. I was this wallflower. We met at a club called Maverick's Flat on the Crenshaw in Los Angeles. Oh, you've been there. You jammed, yeah. With the Commodores and everybody. And I was like, oh. And they said, you could be a basketball wife, and you could. I'm like, I don't want to be where's my identity? So I said, no. And so he called me on my birthday, and he said, well, I'm at the Prophet's house, and I would like to get my name, and what I'd ask you is, are you going to commit today? And I went, well, you've only given me 3 months, and you've had 2 years. Logic analytical, and thinking like, so can you give me some more time? And he said, no, if you don't commit today, I'm going to marry someone this afternoon who was, I know, who was prepared for me. And I went, Like a sandwich? What do you mean with that? You've been cheating on me? I mean, he says, no, it's not like that in the culture. It's not like that. You would be wife number one. And I went, and I said, if I'm wife number one, are they gonna watch my 10 children? Or he said, oh, you get to pick wife number two. That's when I collapsed on the floor. I just said, no, have a wonderful life. Thank you very much. It's been great. I respect you and love you so much. I could not make him not happy. When you can't, and I don't know if you've ever, as you're developing and you can't win, you can't succeed, how you feel. And sometimes I feel success. It's okay, I tried, I read, it wasn't for me. And for him, this is what makes him happy. I cannot make him that happy. And you want your people, your friends, people you love and like and know, to be happy. And I couldn't do that. So I wished him well. I absolutely did. And we've been dear friends. He can trust me because of that.
That's a story, and I hope Kareem doesn't come looking for me later.
No, he won't. He knows it. He read it. He saw it. He's okay with it. He respected me so much that he called my mom to get my telephone number. Years later, after that family was killed in his home in D.C., and that was his prophet, Hamas. His wife and children were drowned in a bathtub and killed, and Kareem wanted to see me with a bodyguard, and I said no. They might be following you. As much as I adored you and respect you, no. And it broke my heart that I couldn't see him, and I was like, but it's me, I love me more.
So maybe turn this, to you, Erica. You've had some outgoing, kind of like trying, as Pam was saying, succeeding sometimes by failing or failing by succeeding. Do you want to maybe give us an overview of your time at Google and some of the things? Yeah, I was going to do that. Some of the things that you, not that you experienced at Google, but that you kind of how you outed Google in a way, and how you outed some of Google's.
How I outed Google?
Google's policies internally.
I wasn't intending to out Google. I just want to put that out there. But it happened. In 2014, I was going through a really hard time. I had a relationship fail, and I was having struggles at work, and I was being very, very cruel to people, and that wasn't me, right? I grew up and I was the one who trusted everybody, who was kind to everybody. I was people used to call me really naive because I was just I trust you and I believe you and let's go be friends, everybody, right? And I wasn't being that person. I was okay, I need to go to therapy and figure out what's going on. And this is where every talk I do, I tell everybody in the audience to go to therapy because it's important, it's life-changing. If we are busy taking care of our bodies and going getting our bodies checked up, we should also get our brains checked up every once in a while. Just go in and talk about your stuff. Anyway, so I went to therapy, and part of my therapy was to write. That is how I process my feelings, is by writing. I grew up reading books all the time. I used to get in trouble for reading in the shower. So writing right next door to reading, and writing is how I got my feelings out. And so I started writing about everything I was going through, all the things that I had experienced in my life. When I was sexually assaulted when I was a child, I wrote about that. I wrote about, my mom passing away. I wrote about everything that hurt me. And then I got to the point where I was writing about Google. And I started going through everything that had happened to me at Google, and I was wait a second, this place is not good for me. I was still at Google at the time. And so I wrote about all those things. I wrote about the racism, I wrote about the sexism, I wrote about the microaggressions and the macroaggressions. I wrote about all the things that happened to me there, and I published it online because I had a blog and it was WordPress. And this one I was well, I know sometimes people think about Google and they go searching for things, so let me put this on Medium. So it doesn't take my site down, because I have a baby hosting plan. I didn't want to destroy my site with one little post, so I put it on Medium, and it got a lot of attention, and it got a lot of press. and it started a lot of conversations, and people started looking at Google as this, like, this best place to work, right? Like, so many years in a row, Google was the best place to work, right? You see it in magazines, and like, this is the first time anyone has heard of anything negative happening at Google. And what was interesting about that is that when I wrote that piece, I had so many inbound messages on Twitter, emails, literally any way people could get in touch with me. Like, they were finding my old email addresses that I had stopped using years ago to try to reach out to me and tell me that they had experienced those things too in the tech industry. And at that point, I was like, okay, this is a problem. Because for me, it's like, I can deal with it. I'm strong, resilient. I can handle myself. But I don't want this to be happening to everybody else in the industry. So I made it my mission and my passion to start working on diversity and inclusion in tech. I started this project Include, which is to teach startups how to be more diverse and more inclusive. And I go and I talk on panels, and I literally like run myself ragged to try to change this industry, because I have two little nieces, my twin nieces, Riley and Brooklyn. I hope they see this someday, because they'll be so happy that TC got to sit next to Pam Grier. But Brooklyn, Riley is like my little flower child. She likes to like go out and garden and bake and everything. Brooklyn is the technical one. Brooklyn is like, I want to do math and I want to do science. And I want to look at your computer and tell me what you're doing on your computer, TC, right? And she's going to be in this industry behind me. I do not want her to face the same things that I did. I do not want her to go through that. And so I keep working on it, and you know, the failure that I had at Google, the problems resulted in this, where I get to change the industry, and that works for me.
It works for all of us.
Yeah.
That's wonderful, yeah. But and sometimes you think you're the only one.
Right, and you're not the only one. Until you tell your story, and you hear everybody else say, you're not alone. Isn't that so important to hear that you're not alone?
Oh, to tell people they're not alone. And they would come to my book signings, men as well, talking about their assaults and their issues, and revealing for the first time that they hadn't revealed to their wives that they had been assaulted. And I helped them to get to a point of control and comfort.